What is up, everybody? This your man Dre Mac with another episode of the Dre Mac Podcast Show. About to do the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 2 through 4. All of this coming next. All my thoughts. Spoiler warning, letting y'all know spoilers ahead right now on the Dre Mac Podcast Show.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is your man Dre Mac with another episode of the Dre Mac Podcast
Yes, I know some of y'all have been waiting on me to drop these episodes. I've been extremely busy. I am so sorry. What I am going to start doing, dedicating myself when I get home, because I do work. I work overnight jobs. So when I do watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I watch a lot of these videos. I'm literally watching them at work. Don't tell my job that I'm watching movies at work. Maybe I just did. But anyway, so I'm watching them while I'm at work. So once I get home after like a 11-hour day, sometimes I'm extremely tired, but I'm gonna start dedicating myself to just give you my initial reaction, my initial thoughts, not spoiler thoughts soon as I get home. Sometimes it's just hard to get home after you done drove 20 minutes to work and been up 11 hours doing the type of job that I do, that you want to go and do work. But this is what I dedicated myself to do. So let's get into it. So now what I want to do is go back to episode 2, which was labeled The Star Spangled Man. And let's just dive into this real quick. And I'm gonna just give you the quick synopsis, because I wasn't able to really give you my episode 2, 3, and 4 thoughts like immediately after they dropped. This is kind of like the backup, but I'm gonna tie a lot of things together that I'm starting to see in this episode that is really starting to tie in to stuff that a lot of folks deal with in the real world. So let's get into it. So the Star Spangled Man, that's the episode with Walker, which is low budget Captain America in my book, appears on Good Morning America, and he reveals his desire to live up to the Rogers mantle. Now, Barnes tells Wilson that he should have kept the shield and decides to accompany him to Munich, where the Flag Smashers and their leader, Carly Morgenthau, are still in the shipment of medicine. Wilson and Barnes attack the group, but the terrorists have become super soldiers and overpowered the pair. Walker and Lamar Hoskins arrive to help, but the Flag Smashers escape. Walker wants to work with Barnes and Wilson, but they refuse. Traveling to Baltimore, Barnes introduced Wilson to Isaiah Bradley, a veteran super soldier who fought the Winter Soldier in the Korean War. However, Bradley refuses to help them uncover information about additional super soldiers due to him being in prison for 30 years and experimented on by the U.S. government for Hydra for over 30 years. Barnes is arrested for missing a therapy appointment, but Walker hasn't released. Barnes and Wilson again refuse to work with Walker, and Barnes suggests to Wilson that they should visit the imprisoned Helmut Zemo. Let's just go to the Star Spangled Man, because I want to go and give you guys a kind of what I'm starting to tie in this story together. Of course, episode 1 was a New World Order. The second episode was a Star Spangled Man that introduces us to the new Captain America, which is John Walker, aka U.S. Agent. In the comics, U.S. Agent is kind of a nationalist, and at that time, we can quote unquote call him kind of racist at that particular time. In the comics, he was just so pure. He came out as super patriot. So his character in the comics is just super A1. I'm a patriot. You know what I'm saying? Blah, 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 blah. And Lamar Hoskins, AKA at the time, he was going to be the new Bucky. and they kept calling them Buck in the comics. And the comic book writer had to go back and say, whoa, because he was starting to get letters in the mail. You can't call black people bucks. And that's a big thing, especially if you know the term buck breaking. That's what they used to call black people back during slavery times. They call us bucks. You see what I mean? So they had to go back. So he took on the name Battlestar, which Bucky clearly says once he tells him his name, stop the car, get me up out of here. But I want y'all to check this underlying tone of this theme. You have Carly Morgenthau, who's really trying to get the shipping of medicine to some of the people who were not taken care of because of the blip, because she didn't get blipped. So she lived in a nation where half of the people were gone. So now there's no borders. So what her job is, what the Flag Smasher is trying to do, is trying to supply medicine and goods to those people, which we'll find out in episode 4 why that was so important for her. So to paint her as a true to the heart villain, she's a villain. If you could call her a villain, because literally she tiptoes the line in this particular episode between, modern day Robin Hood and actual villain, or you can look at her as a revolutionary, a radical, compared to just pure terrorism, just going around just blowing people up. In this, you also get to see a little bit of the backstory of John Walker, who is the U.S. agent, aka Captain America, where you get to see he's just this, the model American soldier. Charts. He's off the charts. He has 3 medals of honor. Fighting in Afghanistan. I mean, he's literally the perfect candidate, almost like that perfect candidate was in Captain America: The First Avenger. The guy who was kind of a dick. And then you like, how is this guy going? You don't want that dude to Captain America. You want the scrawny kid, the kid who actually believes in himself. He just doesn't have the physical attributes to go ahead and do what he's supposed to do. So that's one of the backstories that I want you to get. But when they introduce Isaiah Bradley, I think this is where we start to understand a little bit more about where the direction of this is going, because Isaiah Bradley was the second Captain America in the comic books. He was Captain America after Captain America was on ice. He just wasn't talked about. And it's funny because this story reminds us of a lot of black soldiers during certain times of war that was not credited for the things that they did for the United States. Even subjected to tests, just like the Tuskegee experiment and other experiments that was done to black people during the late 1900s to the earlier 20th century. Stem cell research and all of this comes from black people. And to be able for Isaiah to hear the story of how they was taking his blood and how he was sentenced to prison after defeated the Winter Soldier in the Korean War, whooped him and took his arm. Yet they subject that man to ungodly treatment, sent him to prison, and have people testing his blood so they could perfect the super soldier serum. What does that sound like? And then you have this, and then you have the introduction now of trying to go get Baron Zemo, because Baron Zemo, or Helmut Zemo, knows a little bit more about the super soldier program than we think, because he infiltrated the Hydra facilities, killed all the super soldiers in Captain America and in Captain America Civil War. So this is something that in episode 2 we were looking forward to, so we could be able to kind of understand where the direction of this actual storyline is going. So you go to episode 3, which is called The Power Broker. And in this, in a quick synopsis, Zemo offers to help them to stop the Flag Smashers, and Bars orchestrates a prison riot to help them escape prison. They travel to Madripoor, a criminal sanctuary city island, where high-ranking criminal Selby reveals that the Power Broker hired former Hydra scientist Dr. Wilfred Nagel to recreate the super soldier serum. Shelby is killed with Wilson's identity is exposed, and every bounty hunter in Madripoor targets Wilson, Barnes, and Zemo. Sharon Carter, who has been living as a fugitive on the island, saves the trio and directs them to Nagel's lab. They learn that he created 20 doses of the serum, which Morgenthau stole. The bounty hunters attack them, and Zemo kills Nagel and the Chaos before finding a getaway vehicle. Carter stays behind, and Wilson promises to get her pardon. The Flag Smashers raid and bomb a global reparation council and the storage facility in Lithuania, while Zemo, Barnes, and Wilson search for them in Latvia. Barnes is later confronted by Ayo, a member of the Wakanda Dora Milaje. Now, this episode, I'm going to tell you something. Now, it was revealed that Sharon Carter was snapped, right? So, how did she become that rich in like 6 months? How did she become so integrated within Madripoor to be able to sell? And this is where we find out what she's been doing. She's been selling fake painted, even though she has the real ones. She's been selling high dollar paintings on the black market in Madripoor. Now, this is my thing. I don't believe she's the power broker. I gave y'all a spoiler warning. I don't believe she's the power broker or even working for the power broker. I truly believe she's working for the CIA, and that she's been working for the CIA since she returned back from the blip. This is the reason why. Number one, she was able to go ahead and get some of the goons off of her in Madripoor, some of the goons off of Wilson, Barnes, and Zemo. In the particular scene where they have to go in as basically Wilson has to go in as a white tiger. Zemo goes in as Baron Zemo as himself, and you have Bucky going back in as a Winter Soldier just to meet Selby, who is working for the power broker. Now, if Selby was working for the power broker, why would Sharon Carter smoke Selby at that particular time after she found out that Wilson's cover was blown? Also, we're talking about the super soldier serum, which in here they actually say that the CIA has a super soldier serum also. And they want some of that sweet, sweet serum. Why? Who is also in charge of the CIA, the FBI, the world security system, the American security, just all of this? Thunderbolt Ross. She has to be working under the rouge of Thunderbolt Ross and the CIA. Just almost like kind of like when we was looking at WandaVision, we was looking at the underlying tone that, okay, someone is doing something to be able to get Wanda to be able to get her magic, because they wanted to recreate Vision to take out Wanda and then blame Vision for it. So there's someone that's working hard. I don't believe Sharon Carter came back after all this. Just snapped back, and then in 6 months she's a powerful person in Madripoor, as grimy and dirty as Madripoor is. Sharon Carter, and all that excuse that I can't go home and talk to my people and see my family is some bull crap, because she's secretly working for the CIA. That's the only theory that I have thrown out since this show has happened. And I'm not going to get into the whole, maybe it's Mephisto. I'm not going to get into that. But I do believe Sharon Carter is not the power broker. I believe she is not even working with the power broker himself. I truly believe she is working with the CIA. She's a former agent. She was Agent 13. She was a very good agent. And she shows off. She's super badass in episode 3. When she's kicking the crap out of these kids for Madripoor, it was awesome. You know what I mean? Completely awesome. But again, there is no way for me to believe that she is working for the power broker. I believe she's working for the CIA so they can get their hands on that serum. They want to take it from the power broker and then blame it on Carly Morgenthau and be able to get this back. It just makes perfect sense. Now let's talk about Baron Zemo and them dance moves now. And it's funny because Marvel released a 1-hour cut of just him dancing, which I think is super awesome. Super awesome just to see that they listen to the fans as far as that and made a 1-hour cut of just Zemo dancing, which is awesome. You also get Barnes running into the Dora Milaje towards the end of this, running to AO, which leads us into the World Is Watching episode, which I've watched this episode like 7 or 8 times. I'm probably going to watch it before I go to sleep. just because how good this episode is. And there's going to be an underlying tone what's going on in America today. Now, the world is watching. Starts off with AO gives Barnes 8 hours to use Zemo before the Wakandas take him in, and Zemo killed their king T'Chaka. Zemo helps find Morgenthau at the funeral for her adopted mother, while Walker and Hoskins intercept them. Wilson speaks with Morgenthau alone and attempts to persuade her to end the violence, but as the impatient Walker intervenes, a fight ensues. Zemo destroys most of the serum before he is apprehended by Walker, who secretly takes the last vial. Ao and the Dora Milaje come for Zemo, but Walker refuses to hand him over. In the ensuing fight, the Dora Milaje humiliate Walker while Zemo escapes. Morgenthau threatens Sarah, forcing Wilson to meet with her so she can attempt to persuade him to join her. Walker and Hawkins engage other members of the Flag Smashers, leading to another fight in which Morgenthau accidentally kills Hoskins. Enraged by his friends, Walker uses his now bloodied shield to kill the Flag Smasher Nico in front of horrified spectators who film his actions. Now, first of all, kudos to Sebastian. What's it, Sebastian Stan? The way that he. Let me just say this: the opening scene with him and Ao deprogramming him was probably one of the best scenes in this whole series because it showed real emotion. It showed him having flashbacks of going through trauma. A lot of our veterans go through trauma every day and they relive stuff that they can't get unprogrammed from. So to actually see this particular episode where you see him getting deprogrammed and the tears is running down his eyes because he knows he's free. Finally, no one can control him for violence, man. It's an awesome episode. It's one of the most powerfulest things that you can see besides Isaiah Bradley saying what they did to him, which was incredible acting. Like I said, it's incredible acting, but you feel the hurt and the relief in these particular scenes. You see the hurt. And Isaiah Bradley, like, what did I get for being a soldier, doing what I got to do? Other people died during these experiences, but I survived and became a soldier. All you did was put me in jail and take my blood and do experiments on me. And then you got Sebastian Stan, who went through the same trauma. They took him, after he fell and was presumed dead. Hydra took him, put super soldier serum in him, and made him a soldier, a killing machine. And he went through trauma. And so it's good to be able to see him deprogram the way that they did it, deprogram himself. Now, I also like Sam Wilson's interaction with Carly Morgenthau after the funeral, because it's a good sign when someone actually talks some sense into you. And when we were looking at the Carly Morgenthau character, they're not necessarily giving her screen time like that to flesh out her character. But if you watch some of the nuances that she's had, she's like any kid that thinks they're doing the right thing. And in retrospect, she's kind of right. She wasn't right for what she did when she blew up the GRC facility. That wasn't right. But her cause and her understanding is right. Because you have to think about it like this. You were in a time where there were borderless areas. So you could be able to go somewhere without being judged, which she absolutely tells Sam. I could go in any country and be accepted. Prior to that, if I go into a country, they told me to hate you. Now, if this is not true, go and find me any type of propaganda that certain places use against other places to tell me that I'm wrong. Because there's so much propaganda. Instead of being, we're all just one people in one world, which I completely understand that. These people want to make us hate each other instead of loving one another and understanding each other and that we need each other. Because for the first time, there is a world without borders, and I could be able to embrace other people that need help just like I need help. Very good piece of writing from Marvel's team here. Again, they did it with WandaVision when they showed the 5 stages of grief. They're also showing you the human element that we all miss. Number one, Sam Wilson wanted to probably be Captain America. But let's be honest. It's hard for a black man to raise up that flag and try to stand proud for a country that sometimes and more times than often turns its back on its black people. So to try to be the representative and try to hold that dear in the beginning was hard because it's black people that love America. There's black people that love that flag. But it's hard to represent it when you got people out here dying by people who wear shields and think they're above the law, which is going to get me into, Jimmy Walker over here. Oh, Walker, James Walker. Let me just say this. One of the most heart-wrenching portions of this episode is when the new Captain America, John Walker, killed that kid Nico, because Nico said I loved Captain America and what he stood for and that shield. Even Carly Morgenthau was like, the thing needs to be destroyed. But somebody looked up to him, and he was killed by the very thing he looked up to. When I was a kid, we used to play cops and robbers, and majority of the time I wanted to be the cop. Why? Because you're trying to hunt down bad people. That's it. You're just trying to hunt down bad people. And when you're faced with a situation where a real cop pulls out on you and you're not doing anything wrong, and he treats you like you don't matter because he feels that he has authority just because he has a shield or a badge, a sense of authority. This is what Johnny is doing. The real Captain America, Steve Rogers, never did that. The Steve Rogers is what America portrays itself to be. That's Steve Rogers. And there's good people that try to be just like that. To just be fair and honest to people and love people and respect people just the way they are, no matter what their color is, no matter what their sexual orientation is, no matter what they are. They just try to love them as they are. And when those people move on, and you got hot shots like this kid, the John Walker type, who walks around because you're the new symbol. And I want you guys to understand this, because this is what we see every day as Black people, is that we see these guys take up these mantles and say, I'm just trying to do something right, but treat people like trash and will kill someone in broad daylight without no remorse or no regard, just because they feel that they have a title. This is the harsh reality. And thank God that Disney is showing this. That Disney Marvel is showing this. Because literally, if you look at the progression of John Walker from the Star Spangled Man in episode 4, you see him slowly and surely starting to go off the rails. And the crazy part is that if you watched There's a scene, and hopefully I could get the screen grab for it. But there's a scene where Helmut Zemo is walking up, trying about to meet his associate, which is a little girl he give the candy to find out where the funeral is being held by Mama Donya. If you look at John Walker literally is having a Tourette fit in the back. Something just not right with the kid. Yet he has authority. This is what we're saying, what Black people has been saying about some of these kids with badges. Some of them are not right. And things happen, and then now we want to make an excuse. Just because he tests off the charts, what about his mental capacity for human life? Just small things. Just the small things. It's just human life. That's all it is. And you see what John Walker did at the end. RIP Lamar Hoskins, though. Because, man, Carly kicked the crap out of him and broke his neck on the thing. First of all, let me just say this. Let me just get off of my other horse. And let me just say this. Why didn't John just give him a sliver of the, hey, you know what? I got a little super soldier serum. Want a swig? I'm going to take some of it. You take some of it. At least we'll both have some super soldier serum. I don't think it takes much. I don't know. I don't have any serum, but I don't think it takes much to get your boy some. So that way, if he gets kicked into a building or kicked into a pillar, he's less likely to die because he has a little bit of that super soldier serum. I'm just saying it's a possibility. That's all I'm saying. Dora Milaje. See, this is the thing. And I'm going to wrap this up. When I watched Dora Milaje beat the holy brakes off of John Walker and embarrassed him, that was his breaking point. And it was glorious. While my man Baron Zemo was like, I'm out, and pulled the old Ninja Turtles move and jumped into the sewer. Now, the Dora Milaje, I'm talking about beat the man so bad, embarrassed him so bad, he didn't know what to do. He just sat there crying like a little baby. And the funny part is, that's an algorithm, or this is not an algorithm. This is an underlying tone about the privilege in America. Because when the privilege does that to you, they get mad because they're embarrassed. There's a lot of people out here that are privileged, that feel like they have command and they can just do whatever they want to with people. And then that happens to them. Now you have no other choice but to dope up. Now you want to soup up. Now you want to get tough. The Dora Milaje did old John Walker just right. Because first of all, you're a whiny, crying baby. You felt like you can get one over and talk to people like they crazy. And my man, Sam Wilson told you, only thing you running in here, homie, is your mouth. So you better back up. He told him you better fight Bucky before you fight them. And look what happened. The Dora Milaje came in and whooped you. Now what you gonna do? And like he said, they don't even have super soldier serum. So then what? Now, while the Dora Milaje is now looking for Baron Zemo, we got to deal with the superpower. I'm going to just take all I ain't even going to give my boy some, even though he's been the only, voice for you throughout this whole season. He's the only the guy who's telling you, yeah, you know, you are awesome. You're something. I mean, I don't think so. I would have told you the truth about yourself, but he adored you. He didn't give your boy none. That a slip. Like, go ahead, get you a taste of that. Get you a taste of that. Didn't give you nothing. Oh man. Bad friend. Bad friend. So now we have the death of Nico by the hands of John Walker. Carly Morgenthau threatened Sam Wilson's sister, and he came up like, "Oh, this is how it's gonna be." He was ready to box. He didn't care if you had super soldier. You ain't gonna threaten my nephews. What's up? And you have my man Baron Zemo. Baron Zemo needs a spin-off show too. We be saying that. We said this last month of the WandaVision series. We said this on the last series that somebody needs their own spin-off show. Honestly, man, Zemo's been awesome. And the whole writing has been good. And hopefully we get to learn more about who Isaiah Bradley was, to dig more into his story. This is what I would like to see. More about Isaiah Bradley and more of his story. I want to know more about Carly Morgenthau. What are they going to do now that Baron Zemo has destroyed all the serum? That's another thing. There's no more serum. So what's she going to do against the power broker? We actually get to find out who the power broker is. We need to find out who that guy is or girl. I believe Sharon Carter's worked with the CIA, but that's just me. Or not just the CIA, working for Thunderbolt Ross. I mean, you take it up, not just CIA, she's working for Thunderbolt Ross. Because who else to be able to find these super soldiers and find out what they're doing? Nobody better than Thunderbolt Ross to make that order. So that's what I want to see. I want to see a little bit more Descent to Madness from John Walker so he could become comic book US agent. And I'm just really excited about the show, man. I've been enjoying it. I am going to start giving you guys more of my thoughts on the day it come out. Tired or not, I'm going to just spit them out. And then that way you can know what my thoughts are immediately. I appreciate you, who tune in. Check out the Dre Max Show, especially when I'm doing these Marvel reviews. I'm going to start being more consistent. That is my 30-day challenge. And that's what I plan on doing. So until next time, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And shalom to everyone. Peace. I'll holler at you. What I want.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is your man Dre Mack with another episode of the Dre Mack Podcast Show.